Hello everybody, welcome back to Predacon. Today, we're diving deep into the ocean of Decepticons with the Predator himself, Sky-Byte. That's right, it's Sky-Byte from Transformers Robots in Disguise. Everybody knows him as the Shark. Oops, I just hit my camera. Anyways, this is Sky-Byte from Transformers Age of the Primes. He is exactly what I imagined he would be. He is amazing. He is an awesome figure. He is a modern version of the outdated figure, although with some changes. But overall, it's still an amazing figure. Now, first thing we're gonna do is look at the head sculpt. Look at the painting. Look at that nice head sculpt with the teeth and everything. That looks amazing. That painting on the chest and all that. You can have some detail here. We have some detail here, detail here. You know, you got the shark's eyes or whatever. You know, I kind of wish he had the Predacon symbol in the middle. I would have loved if he could have that. But overall, the chest looks amazing. I wish they could have used like a more metallic paint here on this piece right here. This is like a nice glossy blue though, but it still looks good. But I wish more metallic paint. But then again, that's asking too much, you know. Overall, the painting on this figure is amazing. You see the silver here. This kind of I don't know why, but figures can't really get that tone of a nice gold. They just use like a yellow mustard. So most of the figures that have gold, they use this yellow mustard, you know, like kind of referring as gold. But overall, this thing still looks great, you know. His arms look amazing. He does have a hand, but he does come with a weapon. And then we take a look at the back, and it's not a big backpack, you know, considering that most of the time animals are morphers, you know, they carry most of the pieces of the animal on the back or on the sides and stuff like that. So that backpack is really nice. It just looks amazing. This thing came out really nice, and I enjoy it, and I had fun playing with it. I still play with it till this day right now. For accessories, you only really get this little blaster. Let me try to take it off, because apparently now it doesn't want to come out. There we go. You only get this little blaster, which you can also use as his weapon, or you could use it in shark mode and put it in his mouth, you know. But overall, this thing is pretty cool. It's simple, nice, and basic, but it's still nice. But overall, without this, it still looks amazing, you know. Even if you lose that piece, this is still a great figure, you know. So let's get into the articulation for this figure. This figure has great articulation, by the way. First, we'll start with the head. The head has a 360 on it, which is great. I love it. He can kind of look up. It's on a ball joint, so you can get some pretty good movement on it. These pieces, they come separate, so they have some movement, or you can just kind of take them off. But obviously Skybyte has his little shoulder pieces, but you can still move them and rotate them, so it's still pretty good movement on these. So let's just kind of bring them up. So, and then the arms, you have pretty good articulation. They can do the 360. They have a nice bend on the elbows. Obviously this one doesn't have the fist, but he can still rotate his tail because of the way this figure is designed. But that's how he is. You can have him like this, like make it like a claw, but I kind of like the whole thing on it. It looks pretty cool, like a nice little claw and stuff like that, so I think it looks cooler. And he does have a rotation on the elbow right here, so it's pretty good on it. Same thing on the other side with the arm. It can go out that much. As you saw it right now, he has this little extended piece that you could use to extend his how up he can move his arms. Technically, it is an articulation, but technically I don't want to consider it because it's part of the transformation. That's how it transforms. So I don't really count it, but I guess it can give you more extension for the arms going out that much. and you just tuck that back in. For this arm, he does have a little rotation on the wrist, and he has this little movement, but that's more the transformation. But you can still get some nice little, like, you know, like stuff like that, you know. You can get some nice poses like that, so that looks pretty cool, you know. But it's still doable, so pretty good on this arm. They implemented a little more articulation, considering that this is a regular arm and this is just a claw. I don't mind this hollow space because that's for transformation again, but overall so far it's good. We do have a waist rotation, which is 360, which is pretty good considering that there's no like getting in the way. And then for the legs are pretty good. You just got to be careful, because sometimes while I'm playing it and then I just kind of bend the knee, the whole section kind of comes down. But it's not like it's very loose, so you can kind of like do it like that. So see how like after a while it does loosen up, but it still has that bend on the knee, so it's pretty good. You can go out that much on the leg, it can go out back that much just because of the shark, but it still has a pretty good distance considering how it is. And then it can open that much. So can you do the pose? And I know he can do it. Almost. Oof. Come on, man. Oh, well, I guess he can't do it. First figure that can't, which is crazy. Oh well, I guess he can't do it, but he's still very posable. And then he does some have ankle tilted, just like that. And then he does have his feet moved down, but that's more the transformation. Other than that, it's still a pretty solid figure. So, yeah. Now, I do have to say that these pieces, they come in a little plastic. Ooh, something fell. They come in a little plastic, and this plastic, you have to cut it with a specific type of tools. You can't just cut it with the scissors. Now, if you're into model kits, you'll definitely recognize these. You need to use this. Well, you don't really need to, but I recommend these because these make it like a little nice cut. You just kind of like put it right here, and then boom, and then another one right here, and then boom, it cuts it really nice. Because if you use the scissors, it's gonna look ugly. So I recommend you to get these. You can find them at Hobby Lobby, Amazon. Just put model kit clips or something like that. Just as soon as you go into model kits on Amazon, like Gundam model kits, you'll start seeing tools like that. So like a kit or anything, and they're pretty cheap, you know, they're like 15 bucks or less. I don't recommend, but I think you could get them and they'll still be useful for you on your daily life, like to cut the boxes and stuff like that, and cut the little wire plastics that they have. You can just cut them with those. That's what I use. But those are very useful tools, but I recommend you cut those pieces that come in like that. They come in like plastic. I forgot what they're called. But other than that, that's the only thing you should worry about this figure. Transformation is very simple, by the way. So first things first, what we're going to do, I just like to bring the toes down. Toes down. And then we're going to bring these a little bit outside. So we're bringing the toes down, and then we kind of start clipping these out a little bit, just like that. And then we're gonna bring the arms a little bit outside so you can see what's gonna happen right here. So right here, this whole section is just gonna unpeg right there, and then you're just gonna pull this whole section back, just like that. So there's this piece that's pegged into the chest, so that all of that section just kind of unpegs, and then you just kind of rotate these pieces off, just like that, just kind of like that, to make space for it, just like that. And then you can start unpegging these pieces because they're pegged to the shark head, and they also have like this little push-up piece, so you just gotta kind of like pull it out. Just pull these out just a little bit, not too much, and then you can kind of bring the head there for the shark, which looks pretty cool, by the way. That head looks so nice. Now for the whole shark mode, we're gonna bring these pieces to the side. You can kind of start seeing how the whole fin is a head, basically. So first things first, we're gonna do the tail. Tail's gonna go like that. We're gonna, that little hinge that I showed you guys earlier, you're just gonna pull it out, and then just gonna do that. And it's like on a little sliding mechanism right here. So the right arm with the claw will slide up. Okay, it's gonna come down right now, but regardless. And then this other one, you're gonna tab it again. So you're gonna have it like this. You're gonna untab it, and then you're gonna slide it down. And then as you're rotating this, the small hand, regular hand, is gonna be in the bottom. You're gonna rotate this piece, and then you're gonna rotate that the whole section right here on the hole is on. That way, when you connect these, you just gotta align these perfectly nice. You're gonna fold this piece up, and then this little tab right here is just gonna tab into this piece right here. And this will basically make up the whole tail of the figure. So we're just gonna do that. Just tab it in there, just like that. And you can just kind of rotate the tail like, I guess that can look good. Or you could just leave it like that. We'll just leave it open. So that looks pretty good right there. This is really solid tail right there. And then you just have it like that. Just kind of straighten it up a little bit. And there's the tail right there. And it looks pretty cool. It doesn't bug me that there's like the little pegs right here showing, because they're also showing there. But you don't really get to see, like, it doesn't bother, because at the end it kind of covers most of it. And then you have this little, the whole arms can move back and front. So it gives you nice tail whipping on the figure. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyways, we're going to bring these pieces back just like that. Put them to the side. And then we're going to get these pieces right here, just how I unpegged them. And you're just going to bring them up. And on the thighs, there's this little hole that this piece is going to be pegging there. So it's just going to be pegging right here. Just like that. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Just bring the whole piece on the other side. And then we're just going to try to peg it. Just make sure it's tight in there, because it pegs right there. So it doesn't really make a noise. So there's no way of really knowing if it's pegged or not, but it's still pretty good. And then we can just bring these pieces together. Oh, there we go. See? Just made a noise. So there we go. And then you can start seeing how the teeth are coming up right here. Then we're going to bring these sections, and then these sections right here that were pegged in the back are going to peg again in the thighs right here. So you're just going to bring this whole section down, and then just kind of bring this, you have to bring this whole section down, that way it pegs. So I'll just, that way you guys can see how, like, it goes there and there. And these tabs will go, okay, just like that. There we go. There we go. And then you can start seeing how the whole shark is kind of forming. And you just gotta align the head right there. It doesn't really peg anywhere. It just kind of lines there really good. And then you're just gonna bring these pieces back. Just like that. Bring these back down. Just fold, rotate these on the other side. Just like that. And then you're going to start pegging everything together. Right here. We're just going to peg these pieces. Oh, these tend to fall off. Alright. Just kind of make sure you push them in. And then you can start pegging these. They also tab into right here, these little pegs. They have these little pieces right here, and it's going to tab in there. So it should be fine there. Let's put this in there, back again. Okay. I'm not doing something right because it doesn't want to peg now. Okay. There we go. Now it is. So then now we have those pieces pegged, and then you're just gonna push these in there just like that. Just gotta, you gotta push it in there and make sure it goes up there. Sometimes you'll have a gap here. That gap can get a little annoying because then you gotta push the piece in there and then it covers it. So there we go. You gotta make sure that this piece, since it kind of comes off and it pegs right here, you gotta push it in there. That way it all kind of covers up. And you just kind of line these pieces down there. And there we have Sky-Byte in full shark mode. Now this thing's pretty damn cool. The head is amazing. The tail, the detail on it, the metal pieces on it, it looks really damn cool. You have some little minor detail like scratches here and stuff like that. Metal pieces coming out. You can still see the chest here, but it doesn't really bother me at all. Like I said right here, it kind of covers it, but it doesn't really bug me at all. At the end, it still looks good, but this thing is amazing. You still have that tail movement on it with both arms, which is pretty great for this figure. He's a shark, so don't expect any cool pose abilities with it, you know. Sharks don't really have a lot of like articulation generally, you know, compared to like a lion, tiger, you know. But we do have this little nice hint right there that it makes the head go down like that. And, you know, you have some little, like, detail on it, too. But it just kind of makes it cool that you can just kind of, like, have him talk like this, you know? Like he's in the cartoon most of the time trying to be funny. So, I think it's pretty cool that you could do that. Yeah, this is a great figure, by the way. And then you also have the weapon. The weapon gets just these little holes right here. Just pegs right here. Boom. Just like that. So you can also... Yeah. Now, you can't really close the whole mouth because then the gun is like in the whole place. But if you put it the opposite way, it still doesn't really like, you know... So there's no way of storage, weapon storage on this figure, you know? But it still doesn't matter. It still looks good. Even if you honestly lose this piece, if you really lose this piece or you really don't care about it, the figure's still amazing. It's like one of those pieces that you don't really need extra. But this thing looks amazing. And it's a solid figure. Articulation and transformation, pretty amazing. I will say this, for the transformation from robot mode to vehicle mode, no, from shark mode to robot mode, it is easier if you just take off these pieces and then you just, like if they were in vehicle and shark mode, you just take them off and then just leave them like that. Because then you have to bring this whole section up again and it kind of gets in the way. So might as well just take these off and then you can put them back. Just make sure which one's the right one and then the left one. That's pretty much it. That's my advice. Here we are back with robot mode. And this is how it should be looking after you take off these pieces. So this is what I was telling you guys. Just kind of take them off. You can kind of tell which one's which by just plugging them back in. So just kind of rotate it. And it just takes a lot of work to just transform it with these on. So maybe that's why they did it and made these as separate pieces. It makes the whole transformation easier. In my honest opinion, it makes it a lot easier. Trust me, guys. So just don't even worry about the hassle. But yeah. And then these pieces, they rotate, but always rotate them either going down or when you rotate them again, go that way. Don't ever do it from this side because then it doesn't work out and it might break. So I found them easier to always rotate towards the bottom than to the top. So that's another thing I noticed on this figure. overall, this figure is amazing. This figure is great. This is really, really nice. I really do expect more Transformers Robots in Disguise figure. I'll start bringing some size comparison. I do expect more Transformers Robots in Disguise figures. I really want that Megatron that has 5 modes. And I would also like an X-Brawn, but I wouldn't want a repaint. I would want an original mold. But considering how Hasbro is, that might be difficult to do, so I'll just take it, whatever I can get. So here's this. And here is one of my favorite figures of all time. This is one of my favorite figures. These two are one of my favorite, amazing favorite figures. These two. Especially that Optimus Prime though. But these are some size comparison. Here we have Optimus Prime Commander class, which is pretty good size right there. This one's a Voyager and this one's a Deluxe. This one's my favorite Deluxe class figure. I'm probably going to do a top 10 figures of all time for my collection. But you can see how there's a size, really nice size with it. Studio Series Hot Rod right here. Pretty good, well, you know. It's pretty good, this scale right here. It looks great. I'll probably show up photos with the Transformers, Hashlab, Optimus Prime, and Ultra Magnus. But considering that Ultra Magnus and Optimus Prime are like way times almost Jetfire type style Commander class, obviously they're gonna be supersized. They're gonna be super big. But maybe Optimus Prime, because he's considered more of a leader class, I believe, size. It's just the upgrade mode that gives him all that heavy stuff on him. But overall, this guy has a really good scale on the figures. I really want more Transformers Robots in Disguise. Hopefully, we get all the Predacons at least, you know. Especially that Optimus Prime with 5 modes. I'm really excited for that guy. And maybe from the Autobots, I would really love Rail Racer, the 3 trains, or maybe a repaint of the Bruticus, but then that would be too much asking, because it looks like they're not doing repaints on the Transformers combiners, the figures that are combining. They don't really do repaints on them. Like the Ruination, that would have been nice, you know, since we're getting Bruticus soon. That would be really cool, but we'll see. But overall, this figure is great. I highly recommend it. Sky-Byte is a really nice figure. If you're trying to just get him, I recommend Amazon. I just got mine recently, and I think he's still on Amazon retail price. So I recommend to just go get it if you really want this figure. Highly recommend it. And please don't pay overpriced for this figure. So please like and subscribe, and thank you.